My name is Dr. Karen Mann. I am a STEM program developer at Liberty Science Center. Our mission is to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers and excite learners of all ages about the power, promise, and pure fun of science and technology. My role in fulfilling that mission is twofold. I develop new program content, and currently I focus a lot on adapting old program content for new virtual program delivery. And I present our programs. That includes teaching our virtual programs and presenting our live science demonstrations that we do on the museum floors. Currently, I work 3 days virtually and 2 days in the museum. The museum is currently open Thursday through Sunday, so I do have to go in and present our live science demonstrations twice a week. My other days are split between developing or adapting program content and teaching virtual programs. Before COVID, the education team that I'm part of would take our classroom workshops and assembly programs to schools throughout New Jersey, New York, and even occasionally Pennsylvania and Connecticut. Since COVID, we have adapted by shifting all of our programs to virtual for schools. Part of our team has worked to transform our assemblies into programs that can be offered virtually through a webinar format. And the rest of our team, including myself, have focused on adapting our classroom workshops to virtual learning. It has been an interesting challenge, to say the least, to make engaging hands-on lessons that are virtual. Virtual and hands-on don't really seem to go together, but we have been making it work. For some of our programs, we are actually able to send materials to the students and walk them through the lessons. So they have hands-on physical objects in their homes or in their classrooms. And we've also developed a lot of virtual worksheets and puzzles that allow students to engage virtually with materials. And we've also discovered new platforms like Padlet that allow us to post content that the students can work through by themselves or in small groups to do things like solve a mystery or put together data to understand a scientific problem. And we have included in a lot of those ways to use published Google slide decks that allow students to click through content in whatever order they choose. So as I said, it's definitely been challenging, but it has also actually been really fun to learn these new skills. Another skill I have gained is making videos like this one. And because another way that we have adapted to virtual learning is by making asynchronous educational video series. And then in addition to learning new presentation skills and adapting our programs, it has also really allowed us to step back and reevaluate some of our program content and improve them through this process. This includes adding more math actually to a lot of our programs to really make them STEM and not just STIC programs. And really the entire process has actually been very STEAM heavy because myself, my colleagues have had to use a lot of our artistic skills to make nicer looking presentations and backgrounds and flex our creative muscles to come up with interesting ways for students to interact with us through the computer. And oftentimes that means we have to come up with things they can do with just a pencil and paper if we're trying to do things that are not only virtual. This has actually led to a lot of worksheets that include drawings. Detailed observations are a really important part of the scientific process, and drawing can help hone your observational skills, even if you're not great at actually drawing. That doesn't really matter. It's still about observing what you see and trying to put it down. We also do a lot of engineering projects using recycled materials, like making marble runs for physics. And that relies heavily on your ability to do some engineering, but also a lot of artistic ability. COVID situation has also made us really rely a lot on each other for ideas and skills. Whenever we find a new way of doing something, we'll share that with each other. Collaboration has always been a really big part of this job. Our team spends a lot of time talking to each other, bouncing ideas off of each other, thinking of the best ways to execute our ideas. Actually, one of the hardest parts has been that I can't just drop by someone's desk to workshop an idea. I have to schedule a meeting, a virtual meeting to do it, or send a text. That's just not the same. Our job has always relied on flexibility, and so we're adapting to doing things that way. COVID has changed the ways we need to be flexible, but some of the ways we need to be flexible, but Others like last minute schedule changes, not having the right materials, experiments and demos, not going according to plan in the moment. Those will never change. Those are still the same. And part of this job is being able to adapt on the fly to those things. But as long as the kids are enjoying it and getting something from it, that is the important part. And that is also what brought me to this career and away from working in the lab. I absolutely love igniting the spark in students' eyes and sometimes in adults' eyes, helping them achieve that moment of realization. Science is really fun and they can do it. That's why I do this. I also love that not every day is the same. And that is absolutely more true now than ever, because not only have I had to adapt to teaching and designing virtual content, I have also had to learn how to teach occasionally with my 2-year-old sitting on my lap or my dog's barking in the background. Luckily, I am not the only one in those situations. So no one even bats an eye, which is great. My colleagues are even so used to my daughter popping into our virtual meetings that they just kind of automatically start doing this and continue with whatever their thought was. So it's been really great that everyone has been so adaptable and students don't even notice when she's on my lap anymore. I am so happy that we're starting to see possibly that things are changing. I know that I and my husband and a lot of people we know are already fully vaccinated, which is just an amazing feat of modern science. It doesn't mean the world is going to be back to normal, whatever normal is now, anytime soon. But it does mean that I don't know what the fall will bring, if we'll be totally virtual still, or if we'll start being in person somewhat again. I do know that we'll be able to roll with it. We'll make it work and we'll adapt, because even if we are in person, we'll have to change the way we do things. We used to have a lot of shared materials. We'll probably have to do individualized materials, things like that now once we go back in person. So I do hope that we'll be able to start expanding our team again soon. And that will allow me to focus more on the program development and less on the teaching. I do enjoy the teaching, but I really, really love developing new programs. It really allows me to sort of be creative and scientific at the same time. And I love making the new content that will light that spark in students' eyes. And I wish to be able to do that for students who are interested in all different kinds of science, technology, engineering, maybe even art and math. So I hope that explains a little bit about what I do. And if you ever stop by Liberty Science Center, make sure you give me a wave.